And you talk about like that League Two year. I mean, very, very, very special year with you scoring the winner at Wembley against your former side Millwall. Sum up that year the best you can as a whole, the feelings, the moments, and yeah, just sum it up.
It was just a whirlwind. That is the word that I would use. Because I signed from York City, and I'd come from didn't get picked up as a kid, didn't do a YT anywhere, just playing non-league. When I signed for York City at 19, I think I was, I'd half given up on being a footballer. I'd had rejection after rejection at trials. I went for trials as a young kid. Barnsley, Doncaster, I went on trial at Stockport just before I actually signed for York. I went for the Stockport were in League Two at the time, and again I'd got no, and it was no after no after no, and it's kind of like, oh well, I'm a non-league footballer. I got an half decent job. I was going to uni, and then all of a sudden York took a chance on me, and from York going from York in the conference to Scunthorpe in League One, and then that very first season getting promoted to the Championship, it's just like all of a sudden, like everything sort of like it's kind of the point where dreams are coming through, and to end that with a goal at Wembley was just something else. Like it comes up on Football Gold every now and again, and the interview at the end, they're interviewing me, and I'm just saying in this same monotone Yorkshire accent, just sort of saying like this is a dream come true for me. This is like I was playing non-league a year ago, and all of a sudden I'm a Championship footballer. It's just something, and that's what it was. I'd just gone in. I don't even think that Nigel were intending to play me as soon as what he did, because it came about. I was doing really well for York. I was scoring plenty of goals, and Cheltenham came in for me in League Two. So I'd gone down there. I'd seen the stadium. It was league football. Granted, it was miles away, but it was league football, and that's ultimately what I wanted to do. I'd sort of made the decision to leave a really good job and play for York, and I sort of thought, right, I've been given my chance at professional football, and I'm having a go at this. So I was sort of making sure I was working harder than everybody else, and then I'd got me, like, we're looking like I got my chance to go league football down at Cheltenham. And it was because Cheltenham had come in and that were looking like it were going to happen, that forced Scunthorpe's hand, because Nigel said afterwards that it was probably a year earlier than they were going to come in. They had their eye on me. They wanted me to keep playing and keep proving myself at the level that I was at, so that I was ready to go in and go play first team football. So like I said, because he'd said that, it was kind of implying that I might have to just bide my time and be patient here. But I got off to a flying start, to be honest, at Scunthorpe. I scored very early on in the chance that I got, and kind of forced my way into the team. I remember my first start for Scunthorpe, actually. I'd scored coming on as a sub very early.
Against Brighton, wasn't that?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. So I scored coming on as a sub, and then I got my chance to start the game. And then in the next game, I can't remember who it was against, but I had another chance early on, nearly scored. Well, pretty unlucky, to be honest, not to get on the score sheet early doors. And then about 10 minutes later, the keeper got sent off, and I was sort of the sacrificial lamb that then had to go off to get things. So then I'm obviously gutted, like thinking, oh, why me? Like it's kind of all that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, well, that's my chance come and gone. Like I'm not going to get another. You're all up in your own head as a young lad, but fortunately that weren't the case. I think I started the next game, scored again. If I'm right there, and like I said, I think it was that getting off the mark, getting on the score sheet early doors. It changes things as getting on the score sheet. You can sometimes a goal gets valued sometimes better than a good performance. because your name's there, your name's on Sky Sports News, you've made this. It's harder for a manager to leave you out. There's got to be an explanation of why is the lad who's scoring goals not playing. That's what the game's about. So it's harder for someone to not play in that instance. So I think I found myself in the team earlier than the plan, than what were in the manager's plans. But I took my chance, and then, like I said, played majority of that season then, and ending at the end of it was sort of dramatic from start to finish. With the last game of the season, we needed a draw at minimum to get in the playoffs, and we were losing that game. I can't remember the score, but Cliffy Byrne managed to stick a header in like last minute to get us into the playoffs, and then we've obviously gone into the playoffs as massive underdogs because we were the team that had just scraped in there, and there were some great clubs in there, and to go through then to want to even get to Wembley and then to go on and win it was something else. Especially Wembley, you look at that, there were 60,000 fans in the stadium. I think 45,000 of them were Millwall. Were like that's kind of how unbalanced it was. I think they've got the record for the amount of fans in Wembley Stadium, and it was that day because, like I said, we couldn't fill it, so they gave them extra.
Yeah, talk us through that day, Martyn. Talk us through that whole day, the preparation to it, how you were feeling, and of course
we went down the day before, and you get a look around the stadium, and I'm sort of sat there. You're getting all the shirts are up around the changing room, and I'm sat there like posing for a picture in front of my shirt. And one of the lads has gone, "Is that how you spell your name?" And I've looked round, and it's like spelled WOOLDFORD. So they just stuck a random D in the middle of my name. So then I'm obviously like gutted, and I'm fuming, thinking like, what on earth? So like I'm thinking, I can't be going out there with that on the back of my shirt. But luckily they managed to. They had to get on to someone who were back in Scunthorpe, get him to print me another one up and drive down in the van just so my name was spelt right on the back of my shirt. But yeah, then going into the stadium, you get the tour around there, and it's just something else. You kind of the changing rooms compared to sort of where we were and where I'd come from. So the lower league clubs, York City, and then even Scunthorpe's changing rooms are sort of these sort of old school concrete changing rooms. So we're going into Wembley Stadium where you've got this huge space. There's rooms all over. Physios have got their own rooms within there, and it's something else. Then walking out on the pitch and walking out the day of the game, you've got all the fire and all the sort of it's sort of a show before the game, and just something else. The day itself was like the hottest day in the world, but pure adrenaline just carries you through when you're playing in such a arena, such a huge arena in front of 55, 60,000 fans. It's something else, and the game itself was a brilliant game. That's why it keeps popping up on Football Gold. We went sort of 1-0 up. I shanked a shot that got parried by the keeper. I'll be honest about that one being a shank, but it still went down as an assist, so I'll take it. And Sparrow sort of popped up in the at the back stick to stick it in. So we went 1-0 up, and then they swung. Then they scored 2 goals. Alexander scored one of the best goals I've ever seen, like sort of live.
Ridiculous goal.
You could see, yeah, he just sort of chests it down and then volleys it from near enough the touchline, like it just like nestles straight in the top corner. And he actually, we pulled it back to 2-2, and then he actually like had the chance for his hat trick, and it was the easiest chance out of his 3. Well, like sort of middle of the 6-yard box, the headed ball came across, and he just missed the header. And that was essentially the pivotal moment. So, like I said, we ended up going up the other end, and fortunately for me, I managed to nick the winner. And there was no finesse about it. I took a touch out of my feet and just smashed it as hard as I can, and it was a power that I think did it. I think it snuck underneath 14 goal.
Yeah, I mean, what went through your mind at the time? Was it just like a split second of just taking the shot and finding the goal? Yeah,
because it just kind of it broke out to me, like there was a bit of a scramble in the box, and then it broke to Hayes, and Hayes had just sort of passed it out to me one touch, and it was just like I had nothing in my mind other than get my shot away, and it would just literally take a touch. and then smash it. And then I can just remember like sort of trying to get back up the pitch to our fans who were at the opposite side of the stadium. But before I got halfway up, the lads had sort of tackled me to the floor, and I were under a pile of bodies. So,
but there's no better feeling scoring at Wembley, though, eh?
No, and then the final whistle as well. It would just sort of, running over to the fans, celebrating, and then get to walk up the steps at Wembley and lift the trophy is something else, something that'll live with me forever.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any stories you can share from the celebrations after that game?
I can't remember much of them, to be honest. Yeah, it's
Is it all?
Yeah,
I'll be honest, it was definitely a bit of a blur with that. We went back to one of the hotel that we were staying in, and we'd stayed up there. It had its nightclub in the hotel itself, and we just had a free bar, and it just went from there. Like I say, it's very, very blurry from that point, but we definitely enjoyed ourselves.
Brilliant. Right, so on to your last striker then. Who are you going to go for?
Again, I've got two mates to pick from here. Like I said, there were a number of others that went into consideration. I've been fortunate to play with some really good strikers, but it's my two mates, so I had to pick between one of them. And again, unfortunately, one of them's missing out. But it's between John Steady and Sharpie, Billy Sharp. Both of them played Premier League. Both of them very, very good finishers. And again, the fact that the fact that Sharp's still in there doing it now, I think is the reason that I'm going to give it to him. But if we're talking about value on a night out, then I wouldn't have been able to pick between the two because they both love a drink. But yeah, I think I'll go with Sharpie on that. Like I say, he's still doing it in sort of, what will he be now, 33, 34. He's still doing it now. I'd say I think he's Sheffield United's all-time leading goal scorer, is he? I'm not sure if that's fact, but I think it is. So yeah, I'll go with Sharpie. Like I said, there were a number of others that didn't even get a mention there, but yeah, I had to give Steady a mention. He was my roommate at Bristol for all them years as well. So me and him are still pretty close. But so me and Billy, and yeah,